Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another Bring It Back. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that were canceled and or short-lived that I like to see get brought back in some shape or form. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the CW series Walker Independence. Now, really quickly, if you're unfamiliar with Walker Independence is about, it is a prequel to the show Walker. It's taking place in Texas in the 1700s, 1800s? I actually don't remember now. But basically, you follow your main protagonist, Abby Walker. She's Cordell's ancestor. Well, basically, she was moving to Independence, I think, which will eventually becomes what is Austin, Texas, I think. And on the way, her husband ends up getting killed, and Abby was left for dead, but she ends up finding her way to Independence and is trying to find the man who killed her husband. Well, it turns out the man that killed her husband is the new sheriff in Independence, and he is a Davidson. And obviously, if you've watched the show Walker, you know the history between the Walkers and the Davidsons, and it seems like it starts here. This is the birthplace of a large-scale blood feud. Basically, she is no longer Miss Collins, she becomes Miss Walker because she's trying to hide in plain sight, hide herself so that she can gather enough evidence to prove that, hey, Tom Davidson, the current sheriff, murdered my husband, who was supposed to be the new sheriff of this town. Aging, drama of just, Abby trying to get justice and what kind of gets unveiled about what's going on in Independence, about the Davidsons and their plans. So it's a really, really dope show. Obviously, news broke recently at the time of me recording this that sadly Walker Independence was canceled after one season. I'm recording this afterwards, but I had just talked about the Winchesters. Once again, I don't know if this is going to come out before the Winchesters video or not. Just comes down to me which one I edit first and stuff like that. But either way, it's in this, obviously it's that's Jensen's show, and this is also Jarrett's show, so obviously there's the deeper parallel there, but it is a situation of, I don't know if it's 100% like a ratings thing, maybe, but it also is, the fact is, once again, the conversation of the CW is shifting its programming and stuff like that. Big changes are happening in the network, so a lot of shows are getting axed. Walker's Independence is in its own circumstances of Jarrett, I guess, has the power to do this. That's what I was talking about with Jensen when it comes to the Winchesters. Jarrett is currently shopping the show around to see if he can find it a new home, because it is there is still so much story to tell, because unlike some of the other shows I've talked about today, which have conclusive enough endings where you can end things there, the show is super not over. There are so many loose threads left that need to be tackled. Things haven't even begun to be done. There's still so much story to tell. This is a show that has legs, and there's still so much more story to tell. Whether that's up to 3 seasons, up to 4 seasons, up to 5 seasons, I have no idea. It's interesting too because Walker is continuing. It did get renewed for a 4th season. That 4th season is shorter though, so I don't know if that's going to be a thing of CW's going to be nah, this 4th season is going to be last. They might come to that conclusion behind the scenes, and we might not find out about it until prior to the show season airing, or maybe partway through it. Who knows? Stuff like that happens all the time. So who knows? So it's just kind of sad. One gets to continue while the other one doesn't. But like I said, fingers crossed. Hopefully, Jarrett Padalecki can, him and the other people behind the show, because he's an executive producer on it. He's not the main person behind, but he's an executive producer. So I think I guess he has a deal with the CW where he kind of has the ability to shop it around, maybe. So I don't know. So hopefully, fingers crossed, hoping the show does find a new home, but it's one of those things where it doesn't look great. You can be hopeful, but you also have to be realistic of maybe it's most likely not going to happen. There's plenty of shows that have been in that similar boat of, hey, let's try and shop it around, but the more time that passes, once again, this is still pretty fresh. I believe Jarrett said, there was something that said that Jarrett's trying to shop it around 4 days ago at the time of recording this. Once again, who knows when this is actually going to go up. Hopefully it's going to be tomorrow at the time of recording this, but we'll see. But who knows, whether or not that'll work out in. Once again, fingers crossed, hoping, but I'm also kind of sad because I don't think it will happen though, which is a bummer because it's a great show and I would love to have seen where it would go next. So, but like I said, still hopeful. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.